Well, hello, everyone. Lindsay House and Robin Sachs, two coaches on a mission, sharing with you the ABCs of your success for 2022. We are down to Y. We have walked through the alphabet. We are at Y, and tomorrow we will be at Z. We did it. We just about did it, Lindsay.
High five.
Which shows you if you just stick with something, you can do it. You can do it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We are on Y today. And actually, we have a lot of good whys. And I think we can kind of pop in and out of a lot of these things and hopefully get you a couple of things that you can latch onto and go, yes, which happens to be a why. Why don't we just start with yes?
I love it. Yes. Yes. This is going to be one of those days that we're going to accidentally say a Y word every second we're talking. I think that we hit no on our N episode and how important it is to have the no's in our life, but also important to have the yeses. I think you're going to run with this a lot more than I am. So I'm just going to be super brief, but I just want you to really assess, like, the yeses should be as hard as the no's. When something should happen, like it's either a hell yes or a hell no is what I'm trying to say. And I hope that's appropriate on LinkedIn. But I think a lot of us get like caught in this limbo land of, I don't know, what do you think? I don't know, what do you think? And if we like take that time to settle into ourself and our own knowing, we actually know the answer, and one of them sticking out clearer than the other one. But I'm gonna shift the floor right back over to you on this one, Robin.
No, well put. And I love a lot of times we talk about don't do things in extremes because the answer is often in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you took that, Lindsay, and said, no, the answer with yes or no is on the extremes. It's either a yes or a no. If you get into that middle, that can be some dangerous territory because that's, what we all do every night. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. For a half hour, you sit there and nobody's happy with anything, or you have the decision is the thing that you mentioned first, right? Which is even more maddening. So yes, yes and no, it's okay to go to extremes. And I just want to throw two yes thoughts in for you. We yes but too much of our lives, and we yes and too little of our lives. And just high level, the difference is the moment you have a hell yeah, and then you immediately go, but I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the energy, I don't have. And we got excited about something for just a moment. And then we immediately found 7 reasons to shoot it down. Yeah. And that yes, but is something we do subconsciously all the times. And there's all kinds of, we don't need to dig deep. There's a whole bunch of psychological reasons why we do that, from a safety or protection, or I know I'm not ready, so I don't want to embarrass myself. Lots of reasons we yes, but. The thing I would love for you to do, and this can be one of probably many little homework assignments, a self-awareness exercise for you after this. Pay attention to how often you yes, but, and what you yes, but. And I'm going to challenge you when you yes, but something, I want you to go back and instead yes, and it. And what I mean by that is, before you do the, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy, I don't have, I want you to first go, okay, yes, I would like to do this. And if I did that, this would happen. And if that would happen, maybe I could get to this. And if I got there, I could do this. I want you to play out the, if it worked and if you did it, what would that look like? Now go back and try and yes, but it. And you will be amazed when you start to yes and before you yes but, because the yes buts, there are some valid things in there. Where do I get the time or the money or the energy or whatever I need? Yeah, those are things you need to figure out. But once you've started by yes anding it, you see the possibilities. And more often than not, the yes buts are so much easier to overcome, or they're not even really terribly valid after you've gone, well, I could do this and I could do that. So replace your yes buts with a yes and. And again, you will be amazed at how that one little shift allows you to walk into things with so much more confidence, so much more ability, how much more you get done instead of shooting everything down and getting nothing done and feeling stressed out about it.
Yeah, that's so good. Yes. Yes.
So, all right, let's throw a couple out here that are, we're at the end of the year. So I'm going to throw two of them out to you, Lindsay. And I
Okay.
think they kind of maybe go hand in hand, but they are separate things. One is yearly, is a great
Mhm.
why, because we are ending or approaching the end of the year. And so people are thinking about this year and looking back and thinking about next year and what are some check-ins we want to do yearly. And then also I want to throw yardstick in there too, as how are we measuring the things we're looking back at and looking forward at? And is there a different take on that maybe?
Right. Oh, okay. Where do I start? I'm going to start with the yearly, just since you mentioned it first. But I think December personally, from like a coaching standpoint and from working with clients, December always feels like a natural fit on looking back over our year and really taking that time to assess, to build insight of what went well, what do I still want to work on. You kind of like walk through this list of stop doing, do less, like keep doing, start doing, do more. And kind of lay it out so that you can brainstorm through it. And when you think of it that way, when we think of what do we want to start doing, that gets put on the new goal list. But the things that we want to stop doing, like why haven't we already stopped? What are our barriers? This is where I would encourage everyone. Literally, a session with a coach, a couple sessions could bring all of that thinking just right on to paper, and all of a sudden it becomes very clear. Like, I know exactly what I want to work on. I know why I struggle to work on it. Time, like Robin mentioned, we all have our things that are very valid, but there's always a way to get around them too. So I don't care if it's a yearly thing that you look back and assess and then reset goals and move forward. I also find Mondays to be a great like reset. It's kind of finding a time in a day, a time in a month, a time in a year where you make sure this is your time. You sit down to take time to say what has been working, because I think that we can fly through that. And years can go by, before we finally go, I've been beating down the same door and it's still not working. Well, if I would have just like taken time, I always say that time is one of my like, time sucks. Anything that like takes my time and I go, like it's my barrier. I don't want anything to accidentally take too much of my time. And this is one of them. It's like, is it worth my time? Heck yeah, it's worth my time. Sit down and assess so that we don't make the same mistakes moving forward. Right. So before I leave that, do you want me to talk on measuring stick, or do you want to talk yearly for a second?
I just have one thing to add with what you just really was well said with yearly. One thing I'm a really big fan of is looking at what everyone else does and doing it differently, just because it kicks your brain into a totally different mode. And so try this if you've struggled with, every year I do the same thing. I have the same resolutions. Every Monday I say it's going to be different and it's not. I want you to take what Lindsay said, which is find the time where you're going to say, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to reassess here, or I'm going to look forward here. But get kind of goofy with it. Say Wednesday at 5:00, that's when I'm going to reassess. It's not going to be Monday morning, right? Or it's not going to be January 1st. February 4th, I'm going to do that. It's on my calendar. What it does is it kind of mixes it up in your brain a little bit. So it's not like, well, I've been here, done this before, right? And this has never worked for me. Okay, well, if every Monday you say it's going to be different, I'm going to go into the week with a different attitude, a different energy, a different approach, organization, whatever, and then you don't, what your brain starts to realize is, oh, we're going to do this on Monday and we're going to crash and burn by 3:00 in the afternoon, because that's what we do. And you almost make it a habit. That's the problem with things like New Year's resolutions and stuff. You do it the exact same way every year and nothing is different. And so sometimes just mixing the times and the dates where you do those things up kind of re-energizes your brain and goes, wait a minute, I can do this Wednesday afternoon, or I can do this Saturday at 8 a.m. when nobody else is up and I'm wide awake. Figure out what works for you, trick your brain, and your brain will re-energize. And sometimes that's just a simple kickstart people need, because it looks a little different than the way you've ever done it before. So just in addition to that, something to try.
I love that. I think that goes right along with like how people will be like, I'll start over Monday. It gives kind of new motivation on why you shouldn't. Like
Mhm.
beyond, we don't need to wait till Monday. Every hour is the next chance to make a new right choice. But this is like, no, it actually helps your brain in the process. So
Yeah,
thank you.
and
I
then
like
you stop also tripping yourself up by hating Mondays, for example, right? A lot of people, "Oh, I hate Mondays."
that.
Well, then maybe set Monday up differently. Have no expectation Monday. Have your expectations on Tuesday or
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yes.
Stop making
Good.
Monday the Monday that you hate, and just get rid of those expectations and go in and just do your stuff.
Yeah.
And mentally, it releases a ton of pressure. It's amazing how those little mindset shifts can have a huge impact.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I like it. A Wednesday jump start sounds perfect.
Because everyone's already excited. Oh, hump day. We're on the other side,
Yeah.
right?
We're on the other side. It's a
So there's
perfect day.
already a natural energy, a natural little bit of an attitude shift, right?
Yeah.
Use those things to your advantage. Take a look
Yeah.
and see where you get those your stress, where you get your energy, and do energizing things in the energy times. Don't have expectations in the stress times. Just do what you need to do and move on.
Yes, which is a perfect segue into this yardstick, the way in which we're going to measure our success. Because you mentioned energizing. I don't think individuals understand how energizing it is to get to see our success. Like, we know that we should track it, we know that we should be paying attention to what we've been doing well. But if we're not writing it down, if it's not going somewhere that we can look back on it, then we're missing that opportunity to get re-energized, to find that momentum. And so I might have already said this, but I'm going to say it again because I thought it was the best example. But our pastor was talking about how we all put our kids up against a wall, or not all, but a lot of us measure our kids as they're growing. It's fun to see their height measurements, and then once you do the pencil mark, they step away and you're like, oh my gosh, in a year's time, look at these slats. Like, you don't look any different to me. You look the same height and you've grown a whole foot. Wow. And what if we had that opportunity to see small progression like that in a glimpse? And that's where I think that we're missing the boat. I think that we're missing that yardstick of measurement, because if we didn't write it down, if we maybe we did write it down, but we didn't ever take the time to go back and review it. One of the things that I've been doing is like I keep calendars of things that go well in that month, and I know exactly what I'm working on, and I'm able to say I did it this many days out of 30 days in that month. And there's a percentage that goes with that. And so like when I look at percentages over time, over a year, over 2 years, I might have only improved by 15%. And if I didn't see the percentage, I would have told you I didn't improve at all. But you get to see like, wow, I'll take 15. Maybe I can get 20 next year. Like, how do you kind of review your success or look back, Robin?
Yeah, I love that, and I love how you put that the analogy with the seeing on the wall. Again, you don't look different to me every day because I see you. When I see something every day, you don't see the leaps.
Yeah.
And that's really, about how do you if you don't see the leaps, you're not going to get motivated. You're not going to stay motivated. You're not going to want to continue because you don't think it's moving forward.
Working.
And so I
Mhm.
love that analogy. What a great visual, Lindsay. We've talked about things like habit trackers and stuff before. I am a big fan uh, of habit trackers, and I use my Google Calendar for everything personal, professional. The family's all on there. We can all see everything, but I still do keep just a paper calendar. And the
Mhm.
reason I do that is it never goes out more than 1 week. And it's just, sometime over the weekend, I grab it. And the very act of just writing the things down, even though they're all sitting on my Google Calendar, and that's what I'm going to look at 90% of the time,
Yeah.
I have a little section that's got, the few habit things that I am going to do. And so I can simply, I can look at the Google Calendar and you can see a bunch of colored blocks and things crossed off. But by doing that, I can literally, like an animation book, I can flip through and I can see all of those colored in squares for an entire year or a month or whatever, week by week. It
Yeah.
just reminds me, yeah, you did those things that you wanted to do on a daily basis, little tiny things done consistently that have made a huge impact. And
Yeah.
when you remind yourself of every day I did these tiny things, and then you realize, wait a minute, so where was I back then? Holy cow, look how much more I know now. Look what I was talking about at the beginning of the year, and look that now I've crossed 3 of those things off my list. And so I'm a big fan of writing it down high level and being able to just flip through and look, even if I don't use that almost as my regular calendar. And there's something about marking in a square or a box or marking it or checking it off
Mhm.
that just, it's a little win.
Yeah.
And those little wins are the things that keep reminding you, I actually did something. I took action. And the more you get used to enjoying crossing little things off or filling the square in, the more you go, I know I'm moving forward. Even if I don't see it right now, I know because I've already identified I want to get from A to B. And to get from A to B, I need to do this and this every day. That's it.
Yeah.
So I know if I started at A, I know if I just keep checking these off, I know I'm getting closer to B every single day. And so, kind of high level, reminding yourself of that too, that I don't have to constantly check in with the numbers and the parameters if you're not that kind of person.
Yeah.
I need to identify what I know will automatically get me there and then just do them. And every time you check a box, you know you're automatically closer. So you don't have to really think it. And again, so many different ways. If you're more analytical, logical, if you're more creative, emotional, like everything else we've talked about this year, Lindsay, figure out what works for you because there is no right or wrong way to do things. There's some wrong ways to do things, I should say. But yeah, there isn't one way to do things.
Yeah.
There are so many ways. And if you find the thing that is kind of enjoyable to you or fun for you or reminds you of a little win or allows you to look at something and really see it a leap, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do for you, just do it. Don't worry how everyone else does it. It doesn't matter. Do what works for you and you'll get anywhere you want to go if you keep doing it.
Yes, which you is one of ours. Do we want to go into that?
I
You.
love it. Let's do it.
Yes, keep going with you.
You, you create it all. Let me start there. You create it all. All of our lives are our lives because of things we have done or haven't done or chosen or not chosen. And this isn't about judgment. This is about awareness. This is about becoming more powerful with this. So I know it's easy to go, I should have done these things. I know I do this. I don't do these things. It's all me. I'm the one to blame. All right. And it's easy to get into that victim mentality and kind of woe is me and I'm no good. I'll never get this. I want you to throw that crap out forever. We've already this is a swearing day too. I want you to throw it out forever because it's absolute ridiculous BS. And if you want to change anything, you gotta stop believing your own BS, right? So here's the thing. You can change anything if you want to do it. You don't have to wait for everybody else or someone else to do it for you. You don't have to wait for a specific situation or a date on the calendar, like we've talked about. You don't have to wait if there's something you want to get better at or improve or do for you. And that's the main thing here from my take on it is you create it all. You are the one in control of you. And from a confidence standpoint, the way that I talk about you all the time is, confident people aren't in control of everyone else. Good luck with that. Confident people are not in control of the situation all the time. Good luck with that. Confident people are in control of one thing, themselves. And so when you learn to be more in control of you have a competitive advantage in life and everything you will ever do with that one thing. And the challenge, of course, is it's so easy to just focus everything outward and pay attention to what everyone else is doing and pay attention to the situation. And I don't have control. What can I do about it? That's the kind of things we do. Or this person's getting in my way, right? This boss, this coworker, this family member, this person. If you took everything outside of you out of your life and you just went, what if I just took control and did what I wanted or needed to do? What if I wrote it down and followed my plan? What if I marked the wall and said, I'm going to get to this part on the wall by the end of the year, and here's exactly how I'm going to do it. And you took little tiny steps consistently, not big things, little tiny steps consistently to get from A to B, and you did it. That's a game changer. And so, yes, again, valid. We have situations and people and challenges and things in our lives that we have to work with and through all day long. Understood. However, I'm going to challenge you to take some of that focus that you keep throwing away, some of that energy you keep throwing away and giving to all those other things by talking about them, thinking about them, complaining about them. We spend so much time and energy complaining about those things. If you took a little bit of that time and energy back and said, I'm giving that back to me, and here's what I'm going to do with it. It's like a currency, which I guess is kind of punny because electricity is a currency, right? I'm talking about like a money currency, right? If I keep giving you $5 every day and then I complain that I'm out of money, why am I still giving you my $5 every day? I might say, here's $5 for the week, and then every other day I'm going to take my own $5. Your energy is just like that. It's a currency, just like money. If you're giving it all away to everybody else, and then you're wondering why you can't do anything, it's because you're the one who can do everything. But let's pull back some of that energy and put it in the place where you then are able to go and do for you, because you create it all. Whether you realize that or accept that or not, you're a powerhouse. And I could talk about this for days. I'm going to throw it over to you. I don't do that.
I love that you just used the word powerhouse. That's the name of my membership, is Powerhouse, because I just feel like that's what I'm craving out of my women, that they can see themselves as a powerhouse, and that we're thriving, through our days, and the best self sense of ourselves. And and where my brain goes with you is, take care of you. Be careful not to lose you, because everything, Robin, that you were just saying normally comes from a person who kind of has an understanding of who they are, at least, and where they're wanting to go, whether or not they're pulling those triggers to make it happen or making those action steps happen. But then there's, I think, this whole other level where people could be sitting, listening, going, I don't know what I want. I know I don't necessarily want to be here, but I don't know what jives my soul. I don't know, I've been a mom this whole time and my kids just exited the door and I don't know me anymore. So I guess I could talk on this forever, but I'm going to keep it to my challenge. If this is resonating for you, would be going into this new year. I like to have people pick a word for the year. And it could be as simple as saying, you as the word, and it's self-discovery, just like getting back to trying one thing a day and going, do I like that? Do I not? Do I like to exist in music or not? Do I like to pick up an instrument? Do I like to go running? Figure it back out. Who are you? What do you enjoy? Not what your husband enjoys, not what your kids enjoy, not what your friends enjoy. You. All right. That's my soapbox.
I love that. And, Lindsay, I need to do a little aside here because, and this is, pardon me so much.
You're good.
This is, I'm going to take it back to a coaching standpoint, because I love that we took that in very different places. And, this is the beauty of something like a coach. Sometimes when we're figuring out who we are, or sometimes when we know who we are and we just want to get to the next level or shift gears or something like that, the beauty of coaching is find someone who is exactly the thing that you need. And what I mean by that is, like I'll use the example of what we were just talking about. I work with a lot of people who are in places professionally where they've been a very specific person for a long time, and they know who they are. They know a lot about themselves, but now it's about making some sort of shift that they have to make because they've gotten a new position. They're leading maybe for the first time. They're doing various things. They're getting up and having to persuade people more or talk or things like that. And they're really good at what they do. But now there's another skill set that how do I kick it up? It's been all about my knowledge for the last 15 years, but now it's about people skills and communication skills. This I'm great at. This I obviously do well because I'm in the positions I'm in, or I've just been promoted. So people think I do it well, but I know I could do it much better. And some people, to your point, Lindsay, I'm just completely shifting gears in my life. And I've realized I don't know who I am right now. I don't know what my strengths are. I don't know what I'd like to do or what I don't want to do anymore. And the beauty of coaching is there are so many different coaches who can take on so many different approaches and meet you where you are. And this sounds weird, even if you're not sure where you are at that moment. And so if you're looking this year to seek out a coach, 100% find somebody that you go, yes, you're my person. Yes, you walk in and you know how I need to move forward, or I need to go backwards and do something first, or I need to branch out, whatever it is. Find that person. Don't just grab a coach and go with it and go, well, coaching works or it doesn't work for me. Find the person who is the person you need. And I cannot stress that enough. There are so many phenomenal coaches, and they are phenomenal in their areas, and they are not phenomenal in not their areas, but other people are. So find the fit for you and get yourself a good coach. It makes such a difference in your clarity, in your everything, just everything.
You hit the nail on the head, and I've heard it stated like this, but like borrow my belief until you can see it. And that's what you just described from your coach. Like, even if you don't know where you are, your coach does. They have this belief in you and what you can become, accomplish, whatever, and borrow it. Borrow your coach's belief until you catch up to speed and can see it yourself. And think when we don't have that, when we don't have somebody else's belief, like sometimes family's providing it, but sometimes we need to go outside and seek it and pay for it. And coaches have coaches because we all believe so strongly in it. So
100%. If your coach doesn't have a coach, question why. Seriously,
yes.
It's a perfectly legitimate question. So awesome. So this actually leads us into another why, Lindsay, that I think is appropriate here, which is yet. And, if you've been anywhere around the personal development or professional development areas over the past several years, you've probably heard this many times. Adding that word yet. And I'm going to go back to kind of starting to pay attention to what you say and what you think, because everything starts with that self-awareness. Everything starts with that. And if you start to pay attention, what you'll probably notice is that most people have a very critical self-talk and negative self-talk. And what we often do is we say things to ourselves like, I'm no good at this. I've been working at this for 3 years and I'm still not there. I can't do this. Oh, I'm horrible at this. We say things like that. And adding this word yet, bless you.
Thank you.
Adding this word yet, again, I know I use this word a lot. It's a game changer. It is something so simple that can have such a powerful impact so quickly if you just start using it. The idea of being able to say, I'm not there yet. I'm no good at this yet. That is a powerhouse, again, because what yet allows you to do is, first of all, you just started it. Why would you have the expectation you're going to be great at it? What is that? Why would you even think that in the first place? But we expect from ourselves, we have unrealistic expectations. I'm no
Mhm.
good at this. Well, you've done it twice in your life. Why would you expect to be good at it?
Ugh,
If you want to do it, keep
yeah.
doing it. And guess what? You'll get better. You're not real good at it yet. And by the way, everything in your entire life, in your world that you're good at, you were really, really, really bad at for a while.
Yeah.
You just weren't good at it yet. And so cut yourself some slack and remind yourself that if you're putting unrealistic expectations on yourself, that the second you do something, you should be good at it. The second you do anything, you should be at your goal. I set a goal. I'm not there yet. Isn't that how this is supposed to work? Nope, not at all. I don't know who gave you that information or if you made it up. That's incorrect. So it's okay to set something for yourself. And then I'm going to just say this: ditch your expectations.
Yeah.
Expectations are one of the most detrimental things to accomplishing anything in your life, in my opinion. Expectations are horrific. Set a good goal, understand the actions you need to take consistently to get there, and then forget about it. Just do the actions, and it will automatically get you there. So you're not whatever yet. And if you're going to beat yourself up about it, stop doing it. So you don't have to tell yourself you're no good at it. Wait till you want to do it. Wait till you want to put the time or energy into it and then
Yeah.
go for it. If it's something you're working towards, put that word yet in anytime you hear yourself kind of poking at an expectation.
Hmm.
It's a big
Yeah,
difference.
that's good. Yes. I feel like our children are fed this information at an early age now, which is so nice. Like it's built into the school systems, the power of yet. And so they kind of get it and they can get it. And I rolled my eyes as you were talking about when people get frustrated with, I've done it twice. Can I tell you how many times I've had these conversations with my kids, like bowling? I stink at this. I'm like, how many times have you bowled in your life? Twice. You're not good at it yet because you're not practicing. Like it really annoys me. I feel like a child's expectations even are just like they expect you're right. Like and we do it too, but for some reason it's easier to see out of them. And as you're saying it, I'm thinking through my life and where I can be like, yet. And I think that like could be a good homework assignment. You've had some really good words today, Robin, with like the yes and needs to go into your vocabulary. Yet needs to go into your vocabulary. Yardstick yearly. Like I'm kind of picturing, since I already mentioned word of the year, we've given you a lot of good words for this year. If any of them are resonating with, I need to be working towards that. So,
Yeah. And you know what? I love that you do your word of the year with your groups. Don't think this has to be a huge thing. Sometimes something as simple as a word or a phrase or a picture you have in your head of something that you
mhm,
can continually go back to, no matter what's going on, no matter what the situation, no matter who's in the room. If you have something to anchor yourself back to that
mhm,
reminds you of what you want to be doing, why you want to be doing it, and that that's just what you're doing right now, and it's a non-negotiable,
mhm,
that being able to ground and center yourself, just anchor yourself back to that thing,
mhm.
find that for yourself. It's wonderful. And you know, one last thing with the yet that I just realized, and I love when this has been said a bunch of different ways, but don't ever compare your page 1 or chapter 1 to someone else's
Mhm.
chapter 20, because that's what we do. You know, if you want to start ice skating, but all you watch is the Olympic ice skaters, you're deluding yourself because
Mhm.
they're going to make it look incredibly simple, even though you don't realize the amount of hard work and effort that went into that and time. You only see the end result. You only watch someone who's good at it. Right. I think of people who watch football games and scream, you know, why are they doing this? They suck at that. And I'm like, dude, have you ever been on a football field? You literally have no concept. Sometimes humans mess up. You're right. And it's frustrating. But at the same time, if you understood a little more of the game, you'd understand what those other two players did to stop that guy from making that happen. If you don't have the concept of it, you got to be careful about how highly you think of yourself in your own head. So
Mhm.
embrace the fact that you are on chapter 3 and
Mhm.
embrace the fact that someone else is on chapter 30. And it's not about comparison. It's about, I can get to 30 if I write chapters 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and blah, 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 up to
Mhm.
30. That's how you get there. If you want to do that, go for it. Keep writing. But
Yeah.
don't be on your chapter 3 and look at the Olympian and say, I suck at this. Not a great way to do that. I could do that. I'm not there yet. Why would I ever expect me to be there yet?
Yeah. Yet. Yes. Oh, it's so good. I know. I hate to do this. I feel like we have more, but wrapping up a little bit because
Let's
Robin and
hear
I
it.
will actually be back tomorrow, finishing off with our letter Z, which is so crazy to me. So crazy.
And
There's, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Lindsay. A testament to, what almost a year ago we crossed paths, right, on your podcast, Direction
Mhm.
Not Perfection. And this was just kind of I don't even know how this came up, but we started going, this is interesting. Maybe we should try this. And I was like, hey, I just started doing LinkedIn Lives. I don't know. You want to do one?
Yeah.
And we've gone from A to now tomorrow Z, one letter at a time.
Yeah.
And there might have been times, at C or at F or at Q where it was like, wait, can we do this whole thing? We're not at the end of the alphabet yet. And now we're at the end of the alphabet, one letter at a time. That's
Yeah.
all you ever have to do. So take
Yes.
those baby steps
Right.
and we'll see you tomorrow with
Yes.
Z, and we'll wrap the year up and send you off with some really good things to maybe take into next year and and do whatever you want to do.
I know. Do you, boo? Is what my daughter
No.
says. You. Yes. All right. So let's give them a time just in case this, since we are back to back. It's 10 o'clock Central or 10
Uh,
o'clock Eastern Standard
10
Time, 9 o'clock
Eastern
Central.
time tomorrow. We'll be back with Z. Feel free, as often people do on LinkedIn. If you want, you can go in and you can suggest things for the letter if you'd like, or feel free,
Yes.
join us anytime.
Yes. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.